for the build up for next week. So how you all doing? And it looks like it's going to be a wet one today in short qualifying here at the British GP, unsurprisingly being quite miserable around here. It was raining yesterday at my place in Britain. Look, it's not a smash as he comes across the line to start a flying lap as he heads into the first and second corner. This time, always invalidated, it doesn't matter anyway, so that lap time won't count unfortunately for him, but plenty of time left to improve on his lap time. Little blocks on his lap time. He heads down into sector 1, a 31.2 in the first sector. I don't know what lap times they should be set in the first sector. We'll find out as we progress further onto the qualifying session. Yeah, apologies for being late, as V8 Field has left the session, so I don't know what that's about. I think he will join back. Little blocks then as he comes to Cops. Oh, the back end just wanted to step out as he goes off the track, so that's not invalidated, so we'll stay on board with him as he comes through Maggots and Beckett's. Taking it very slowly. As you can see, he's being very careful as he enters sector 2. A sector sets at 139.4 in the Red Bull. Next man to cross the line is Ginger, 42. I don't think that's a representative lap time. Jordan Polska, a 39.1. As Ferrari comes across the line to start his flying lap time. Renault comes across the line now. It's EVR Sam, 39.6, 2 tenths slower than Sector. Not a bad first lap for them. I think it's just the exploratory lap times as Little Blocks comes around the final corner to set a 40.1. Not a smash, his invalidated lap time. ILRT Timon, he comes around the final corner, but I don't think it's a representative lap time from him either. Must have made a mistake somewhere. As IGK Yost is set the fastest lap, a 39.0 for him in the Williams. I think Little Blocks is going through again. It's best to do 2 laps instead of 1 lap for the wet conditions. Usually your second or third lap time improves quite a lot. We see PMP Mike as WSO sets the fastest lap of the qualifier session, a 38.2 already, so he's already set the pace in the 38.2s, well clear of IGK Yost in second place. Ferrer, we can see Mike Exton Woodcut now coming out to Cops. Break at the 50-meter mark. As he works his way up through the throttle. Very difficult, as you can see him losing the back end slightly as he applies as well. As we come down into Maggots and Beckett's, the Red Bull comes across the line, and I think he's going to start his flying lap time. The McLaren comes across the line, and he's gone up into second place. That's the Ginger. The Ginger's already in the 38s along with Ferrer, and he's somewhat 5 tenths off of Ferrer as just as the Ferrari comes across the line, a 39.1. PMP Mike struggling just a bit there. Oh, he's in the pits. Late call to come in the pits, and I believe that was a car ahead of him. Little Blocks comes across the line, and it's a 39.6 for him, and he goes up into 7th place, just ahead of Sam, who's in the pits. Right, who else is out there on track? VRT Timon has just... There's 2 Timons in here, which I didn't realise, so it's going to get confusing just a bit. The other Timon is in second place at 38.6. Got a bit confused for there, I didn't realise there were 2 of them. We're on board with Pat, the German driver, on his out lap. So anyone else there set a flying lap? Go on board with IGK Yost. It says sector 1 down, but we're not even reached sector 1 yet. Let's see what the Dutchman can do in the Williams. There's his teammate ahead of him. Is that the Timon? Yes, it is. What's his like through the first sector? We didn't see the first sector as we could do Maggot at Brooklands and Luffield. I don't know what the race is going to be like, if the race is going to be dry or not. Has the rain stopped? I can't really see. Has the rain stopped? I can't really see from my screen, but if it has, then that's very interesting. 10 minutes to go, so we could see dry conditions towards the end of the qualifying session. Coming through Maggots and Beckett's now for IGK Yost. You can see him just fighting with the car a lot, squirming around on the throttle. What's the middle sector like? 1/10 up to the middle sector. This is going to get him in the 38s if he continues this pace. Now I'm coming through Stowe. I wonder what they're allowed to do in Stowe, if they're allowed to go out wide or not. We'll find out. Well, he goes wide, but I don't know if you're allowed to do that or not. As the racing point comes across the line to start his flying lap time. In fact, I think he's just spun at the... yeah, I think the racing point has just spun. Yeah, you can see him. He's just spun at the final corner. As Ajiko Yost improves on his lap time at 38.7 ahead of the Ginger. And that racing point was probably not a smash. That was his outlap too, so he spun on his outlap, coming towards his flying lap time. So that's ruined everything for him. But it looks like it's stopped raining, so we might see some dry conditions soon. Tyman's just got up into second place ahead of Tyman. So VRT is ahead of ILRT. Sector just cutting the corners there. PMP Mike's on his outer lap, so we could see people going on the dry tyres, which we can see on the left hand side of our screens that people are now on the soft tyres. PMP Mike just needs to be careful, and he might have to come back into the pits because it's going to be very dry towards the end of the qualifying session. So I think he might back out of this lap time to just come in the pits and go for a brand new set of softs. 8 minutes to go, so the conditions will definitely dry up. As not Smash is struggling again. It's where Felipe Massa spawned in 2008. ILRT Pat in the pits. So we can't see anybody out in their lap times. I want to see if a soft runner comes out of the pits. We've got a soft runner out of the pits, and it is the Ferrari. So let's see how he does on those soft tyres. Coming towards, this is out lap, coming towards Brooklands and Luffield. Now coming towards the exit of Woodcut for the next corner. I think that's Woodcut there. Onto the old start finish straight. Now coming into Cops, this is his out lap. Who else is there? DRS is now enabled, indicating that it's time for dry conditions. So people like Lion will now come into the pits to change his tyres. Sam's on his outlap on the intermediate tyres, so he's got a choice to come in or not. Yeah, but I don't think it's time for the Ints no more. Interesting then, we'll find out who's on their dry setups and who's got the pace. Yeah, a bit of people got confused that this was started at 1:30. I thought it started at 1:30, but it starts at 1. So there's 2 tiers as just as on the curb there, just losing the back end as he starts his flying lap time. Obviously, it's not. It's going to be slippy for the soft runners because it's just stopped raining. Hello, Gavin. Aren't you supposed to be in this race, mate? Now coming down to the 3rd corner, up into the 4th. Got to be very careful on the throttle, especially in these damp conditions. Now on the DRS for the Wellington straight. Coming into Maggots, I don't know why I keep saying that. As we come into Brooklands and Luffield. He's not on his outer lap, we know he's on his flying lap, it's just a little glitch that happens. We'll see what Little Blocks' first sector is like. It's a 30.1 a second quicker, so yeah, definitely time for the drier tyres. There's a yellow flag down at the final 3 corners. I think it's just someone slowing down to prepare for their flying lap time. I think that's the Ginger. You're doing Division 2, doing no assists this season. Very interesting, mate. Hope it all goes well for you. Have you got a commentator for Division 2? Or do you need... I can't do it because... Yeah, or interact with this one as well. That turn 16 at Vale. I think this is Club next. Turn 17 and turn 18. Just be very careful on traction through here. And I think there's a Toro Rosso who's just spun. And he goes up into first place. 34.8. That Toro Rosso has spun. Is that Jordan Polska? It is Jordan Polska. VRT Little Blocks, the next one to come across the line. There's a Red Bull ahead of us, so we'll keep an eye on him. I think it's a Ferrer. Sector, sorry. As he comes across the line, he's up into second place at 35.3. The Ginger next. He's invalidated his lap time, unfortunately for him, but he's still going for it. Let's see what his second sector would be like. 4 seconds quicker. You don't know. Sector also has just invalidated his lap time. Apologies for the interruption there. Ferrer, is he on his lap time? He's gone purple through sector 1. But I want to keep an eye. Oh, Little Blocks has just spun through Cops. Very easy to lose the car there, especially in these conditions. Not fully up to temperature yet. Is the track, not Smash. Keep on board with him. And there's a Renault that's going to come across the line. That's Sam Thompson, as he starts his fly lap on the soft tyres. We've got 3 minutes left of this qualifying session, so I think they're just not smashed. A little hesitation coming into Cops. Oh, okay. Dylan Warren, the Williams is coming out the pits. Little Blocks is in the pits. Ferrer, we'll keep an eye on him then as he comes towards the final 3. No, he's not. He's going to go in the pits. VRT Timon is coming out of the pits. Other Timon is on his outlap. Who's on their flying lap on the softs then? This is like the 2014 qualifying when Nico Rosberg took pole at the very last moment in qualifying. Lewis Hamilton backed out of it in 2014, but Nico Rosberg kept going despite the conditions not being so good. But the conditions improved at the very end and he went 3 seconds quicker to take pole position. I believe that both McLaren started second and third, Kevin Magnussen and Jenson Button. Then Hamilton qualified 6th or 7th. It's just like the 2014 qualifying where it was raining and then it started to dry up. Then Nico Rosberg got pole at the very last moment. His sector 1 time wasn't too spectacular, but it improved towards sector 3. Hamilton backed out of it. Nico Rosberg took pole. Then we all know what happened in the 2014 race. Then Nico Rosberg had his gearbox issue. I don't really like to say it myself because I have gearbox issues too. As ILRT Timon starts his lap, Lewis Hamilton finished in first. I think Daniel Ricciardo finished second. Then Valtteri Bottas finished in third place. On board with ILRT Timon as he starts his lap time. There's Mercedes coming out of the pits, and apologies about the black screen. I just got tagged in a Twitter post by an unknown person doing commentary, so thanks for the shout out. Coming towards the Wellington Straight. Williams were quite good in 2014, weren't they? I remember when they led the race in 2015, Valtteri Bottas and Felipe Massa. I think Bottas was quicker than Massa, but I think they allowed to race each other instead of... I think there were team orders where Felipe Massa was ordered to let Valtteri Bottas go, but he didn't do so. So Valtteri Bottas was stuck behind Massa when he had the pace to just drive off. But we all know what happened there. It started to rain towards the end of the race. Both Williams fell off dramatically. They finished 6th and 7th, while Sebastian Vettel went on to take 3rd place, even though he's nowhere near them. Plenty of things happened here in the British GP. That's why it's so interesting. Have had good races here at the British GP. Remember 2013 when we had all those punchers? Nico Rosberg won that one. Lewis Hamilton was leading the race, that he had a puncher. What happened to Sebastian Vettel? Didn't he retire? I think he did, didn't he, Sebastian Vettel? It was Nico Rosberg, then Mark Webber on the podium. Mark Webber on a brand new set of hard tyres as he comes across the line, a 26.3 for ILRT time. That's a good lap time despite the conditions being like this. Who's the next one? VRT Diamond, as he's got a racing point ahead of him, gets out of the way. Who's that ahead of him? That's ILRT Pack as PMP Mike comes across the line to set a 127.1 in second place. VRT Diamond, where can he go? He goes up into second place, so it's a time of 1-2. ILRT Diamond is quicker than VRT Diamond by half a second. So ILRT Diamond set the pace ahead of VRT. The other VRT driver is about to start his flying lap time. The Ginger goes up into second place. There's quite a lot of traffic in there towards the end of the qualifying session because people are waiting. It's like they're waiting for the very last moment. Whoever crosses the line last will set the best lap time because the track will keep rubbering in and evolving as qualifying is done and dusted then. Unfortunately for Sam, could not improve. What about Dylan Warren? Where is he? Who's that? That's Jordan Polska. Dylan Warren 27.3 through the first sector. And what about Not Smash? He's also on a lap time. Both racing points very close together. Reminds me of the 2014 British qualifying. gets quicker towards the end of the qualifying session. What about Mike? Where is he? He's invalidated his lap time. I want to see who's closer to the line. It's a Renault of Sam Thompson, but he's already completed his lap time. Mercedes comes across the line, stays in 9th place. And what about the other Williams? That's ILRT time and come back to the pits. Can anyone take pole position off of ILRT time? Look at the slipstream that the Williams are getting off the back of the Alfa Romeo. Gets out of the way at the very last moment. That is IGK Yost. So they're both Dutchmen are working together for the best performance. Red Bull comes across the line and he takes pole at 26.2 for sector. Mercedes takes pole, but what about IGK Yost? He comes across the line to take pole position at 26.0. The Racing Point comes across the line to take 8th place. The other Racing Point comes across the line to take 6th. The Ferrari takes 2nd place. The Toro Rosso is the next one to cross the line. It's Jordan, and he goes up into 6th place, not the best he wants. Red Bull comes across the line, and he stays where he is. And that's qualified done then. So IGK Yost is on pole position, and Mike has crashed out through Maggots and Beckett's. The Ferrari is in 2nd place ahead of ILRT Pat. Sector is in 4th place ahead of ILRT Timon. Jordan Polska in 6th place ahead of the Ginger. TTG D Warren in 8th place ahead of VRT Diamond. Well, that's qualifying done then. That was very interesting to watch. But on to the race. Let's see what the conditions are like for that. Who was the last one to cross the line set the best time. So IGK Yost is on pole ahead of Justice Ass in 2nd place. ILRT Pat in 3rd ahead of Sector. ILRT Timon in 5th ahead of VRT Jordan Polska. The Ginger in 7th place ahead of TTG D Warren. VRT Timon in 9th place ahead of PMP Mike. Not Smash is in 11th ahead of VRT Little Blocks. We saw these guys not set a lap time on the sauce, so I think they struggled or just invalidated. It was Ferrer, Lion and Sam. They'll be starting down in 13th, 14th and 15th. I like that qualifying conditions, just mixed when it was raining then dry towards the end of the session. The British GP always puts on the show, as we know from last year at 2018. 2016 was a good one, it was mixed and wet. 2015 was also a good one with the 2 Williams and 2 Mercedes fighting. 2014, Rosberg was leading the race, but he had a gearbox issue, forced him out of the race. Lewis Hamilton took over as he started from 6th place. 2013, we saw all those punches. I was there in 2013 at the Saturday practice and qualifying session. Very bizarre. Lewis Hamilton, John-Eric Verne, and Felipe Massa. Sergio Perez had a puncher in P3. Then he also had a puncher in the race. Quite a lot of punches in that race too. Then Rosberg went on to win the race, and Mark Webber for his last British GP finished in 2nd place. It was a good race in 2013. 2013 tyres wasn't really that good. We saw a lot of wear and a lot of punches in that year. Well, I think it was just the British GP, but I remember for the Mercedes guys, the tyres weren't too good because it just wasn't working and they were just wearing out too much. The Spanish GP, where Nico Rosberg was leading the race, but he finished down in 6th place because the tyres just wasn't working for him whatsoever. Same in Bahrain. He took pole position in Bahrain, but it just didn't work out for him. Either Williams on pole position then for the British GP. Ferrari is 2nd place. We saw the Williams guys in 2015. They jumped both Mercedes. I think Hamilton got past Valtteri Bottas, but there was a safety car that came out because there was a crash between Button, Alonso, Maldonado and Grosjean. I don't think Grosjean was involved, it was Maldonado, Button. Then after the safety car went in, Lewis Hamilton outbroke himself and went off the track with Valtteri Bottas, took 2nd place off of Lewis Hamilton. Then it was a Williams 1-2 until the pit stops came on lap 16. That's when it all changed because Hamilton jumped both Williams in the pit lane. Nico Rosberg was still stuck behind the Williams but made his way through on those hard tyres. Could the Williams win the British GP? We know in that year in 2014 and 15 they struggled when it came to rain, especially the Japanese GP. They always struggle when it's rained. So I don't think they could have won, but could they got a podium? Maybe. I remember that watching that race live when both Mercedes had terrible starts and both Williams jumped them off the line. Look at the grid, we've got an interesting lineup there. We've got a mixture of ILRT and VRT drivers, and there's one TTG driver. MNT driver down in 14th. we'll have a look then at the tyres. Right then, so there's 3 guys on the medium tyres, not Smash, Ferrer, Lion and Sam T. And the rest of the guys are on the soft compound tyres. So they could be very interesting for the British GP then. Now the softs can go a long way in this race, over 10 laps, medium tyres. I heard Dylan Warren took like 23 laps or something like that, 23, 24 laps on those medium tyres. So tyres are not a problem around here, tyre wear, not a problem around here whatsoever. It was a problem in 2013 when we saw those punctures, but not a problem now. I don't think no hard tyres will be used unless people get front wing damage off the start, but we're lining up and we're set for the evaluation race soon. It's going to be very interesting. Can't wait for the season to get underway soon. We are underway for the evaluation race as the Williams of Jost gets a better start than the Ferrari, but the Ferrari side by side headed into turn 1 and turn 2. Who gets ahead out of those two? The Red Bull. It looks like a clean start in fact. Everybody made it way safely through turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3. No contact made. The Williams keeps his position, but look at Pat go down the inside of that Ferrari. Pat stays ahead. No, they're still side by side coming out the corner, but the Ferrari stays ahead of the Mercedes driver. And we've got yellow flags because the Mercedes has made contact with somebody. That's Little Blocks and Lion. Both made contact with each other. Don't know what happened there. Hopefully they got full wind damage, but LOR Timer's fighting with the Red Bull. Could Timer give a bit more space for the Red Bull because the Red Bull half spins off the track. The Red Bull's pushed down into 10th place, 11th place now. He's behind Mike, and look at that. Racing Point versus Alfa Romeo. Both Racing Points sandwich the Alfa Romeo. One of them have to back out soon, and it is the both Racing Points backing out of that fight. Oh, we've got a spinner. That spinner is IGK Yost has spun out of Cop's sector, goes side by side with the... Now Sam T's ahead. So IGK Yost, he's got a bit of full wind damage, and that his race is rather ruined already on lap 1. Look at the Toro Rosso tucked in behind the slipstream, and that is Jordan Polska. Jordan Polska goes around the outside of Timon, goes side by side through there. Jordan has to go off the track, has no room as he goes down the inside of rail. And Jordan Polska is ahead of ILRT Timon. The Ginger is in 5th place. As we head on to lap 2, the Ferrari is leading this race, but you wouldn't expect that whatsoever from the Ferrari. All Yost could hope for now is a safety car. Unfortunately for him, his race is rather ruined already on lap 1. So the Ferrari is leading ahead of ILRT Pat. Jordan Polska in 3rd place ahead of ILRT Diamond. The Ginger in 5th ahead of VRT Diamond. Not Smash in 7th place ahead of TTGD Warren. Both Racing Points were fighting VRT Diamond. They sandwiched him, but wisely they backed out of it, otherwise they will come together and crash. Looks like the Ginger will go down the inside of ILRT Diamond, gives a bit of a shove, but fair racing, and he's ahead of ILRT Diamond in Brookfield. So good racing from the two there, two Dutchmen, as he goes up into 4th place. Though the Ginger has good pace around here, let's see what he can do, as PMP Pat tucked in behind the slipstream of TTGD1 as they all come into Cops. Long right hander, I think it's almost flat out through there, but not flat out. They have to lift off slightly as IGK Yost goes onto those hard tyres, and he'll have to hope for a safety car. But the thing is, the respect for him for not leaving, so thank you Yost, and hopefully he has some luck in this race, or for a safety car at least for him. If it was me, I would have left because I don't have that race in mind. The two Racing Points, both on different strategies, so will not Smash let his faster teammate go because of those better tyres. I think they both started outside the top 10, or one of them did. Nah, I think it was not Smash who starts outside the top 10. Yeah, a brand new set of mediums for him. So will he let his teammate go or not? We'll find out soon. It is the evaluation race, so there's nothing to really gain from it. As Lion gets a time penalty, 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's a short pit lane, very frustrating, especially when you got front wind damage. Let's see what Yost could do from there. ILRT Diamond still behind the Ginger as they come onto the Wellington Straight. But the Ginger also has DRS, but look at that, there's a DRS train heading off for 1st place. So look at the Renault in the background, we can see PMP Mike interested in the battle with D Warren. As TGG D Warren stays ahead of PMP Mike, Sector also looking for revenge. It did start all the way up into first, second, third. As Lyons retired from the session, will that cause a safety car? No, because he retired in the pit lane. Right, now the DRS is enabled, will we see any overtakes happen down at Stowe? The Ferrari is leading this GP ahead of the Mercedes. Then VLT Jordan Polska is in third place behind ILT Pat, the German driver. A bit of a DRS train going on, and we can see the Venom in the background looking to overtake D Warren, and he's side by side in Stowe. TTG Warren as the outside line goes off the track completely and goes down the inside of Vale. The Renault is still there. Hard but fair race as Dylan Warren stays ahead of PMP Mike. Ferrer is on the back of Sam, putting pressure on him. He's going back up to first and second. The gap is 3/10 between the two. As Sector's overtaken Mike, we'll see how that's happened. Looks to me he went down the inside and outbroke himself, but still made the move, so good job from him. As Polska on the back of Pat has to make this overtake done because he'll get stuck in that DRS train. Will Polska goes around the outside, now is the inside line for Brooklands as the exit Brooklands onto Woodcourt. Lovely racing from the two as Jordan Polska is now ahead of the Mercedes and on the charge to go after the Ferrari. Pat can now stay in the slipstream and follow Polska to that Ferrari. ILT Diamond and the Ginger also looking interested. Ginger almost loses at the exit of Cops. Plume Maggis and Beckett. We go as the Ginger's on the grass. That's not going to help him whatsoever. He's still got DRS, but he's not close to the guys ahead. As look at that, Mercedes, is he going to make the move? No, he's not. But ILT Diamond looks to make the move. No, he doesn't. The Ginger stays around the outside. Goes off the track. We can see ahead of us that POP Pat has a bare exit cut out of Stowe, and down the inside he goes to Jordan Polska. Jordan Polska looks to do a switchback. They're both side by side coming out of it. Still side by side now as ILT Pat takes back second place ahead of Jordan Polska. The more these two fight, the more that the Ferrari can get away, and these guys will catch up behind. Will Polska send it down into turn 3? No, he won't. Look at the Williams there with ILT Timon going side by side with the Ginger. The Ginger has low contact with Polska. Thankfully, it's not sent to him to a spin. Now side by side coming out of turn 5, forces him to go wide off the track. Both have a DRS. Round the outside goes Timon. Now is the inside line for Brooklands. Oh, did he give him enough room there? Felt a bit of contact between the Ginger and Timon. I think the Ginger needs to give a bit more space than that for Timon. And the other Timon on the back of Timon. And hello Wartinho, how are you? So Timon putting Timon under pressure as Timon is behind the Ginger. We could say Ginger could give a bit more room to Timon, but was he there? Was his wheel in front of? Was his wheel there with his rear wheel? Did he give him space? Anyways, look at that. Timon is all over the back of ILT Timon, but obviously he's got the DRS to keep himself protected from him. Further behind, what's going on? Is Sector looking to make a move on Dylan Warren? No, he's not. Dylan Warren stays ahead. This is a very interesting race. Has Pat got the pace to keep up with the Ferrari? 1.2 seconds was the gap the lap before, now is the gap this lap, so very consistent between the top two. The gap staying with 1.2. Jordan Polska still on the back of that Mercedes driver, but will he allow to give him some breathing space to get up to the first place, because first place is just having a decent race. 1.4 seconds now the gap between the top two. We can see that DRS train going on. Must be frustrated being on that DRS train. That's what happens. As Sector has overtaken Dylan Warren into Brooklands. Good move from Sector. Looking for redemption after what happened to him right at this corner. I don't know who made contact with him, but we did definitely see him go to a half spin. And VLT Little Blocks has overtaken. But look at that. POP Mike is coming back at Not Smash. Fighting for 9th place. They go side by side. Coming into Cops. As PMP Mike is now ahead of Not Smash. Look at that, side by side through Cops, VLT Little Blocks and Ferrer. Both on different tyres of course. Little Blocks has to pull away on those soft tyres ahead of Ferrer's medium tyres. go on board with the top runners. And no overtakes are happening just yet. Oh! Timon goes off the track. I think he wheel spin off the track, didn't he? As PMP Mike and Not Smash is still fighting. Looks like Ferro's got a better exit than VRT LOR Blocks. VRT LOR Blocks beautifully puts his car in the middle of the track so we can't go around the outside or the inside line. I think LOR Blocks is struggling just a bit coming out the corners. He's saving ERS, so is Ferro. Go up into tail 1 and turn 2. .6 is the gap between the top two now, so the Ferrari's pulling away slightly from second place. The gap's fluctuating between the top two. I wonder if VRT Timon is struggling just a bit, as ILRT Timon is on the back of the Ginger, and Veris as Jordan Polska has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, as we've got yellow flags set to dance Alfa Romeo of VRT Timon. Now we definitely saw him struggle through Stowe. We saw him slide off the track. I wonder if his tyre life or something like that is coming to an end. I wonder if those tyres are overheating, because he has been struggling through the corners, not getting the grip he wants, especially through Stowe. Although Jordan Polska had a little bit of a slide as he's on the back of Pat. Pat comes into the pits for a scheduled pit stop. Right, I wonder if he's looking to undercut all the guys ahead of him, because all the guys are stuck in dirty air, and will be a time to pit right now at lap 8. Doing the undercut as Dylan Warren's just spun. Very easy to lose the car there on traction, and he falls down the field into 9th place. Timon also pits as well to get rid of those soft tyres. LOR Blocks on the back of Ferrer. I think the pit window is open now. Got a good battle going on with Ferrer, LOR Blocks and Sam Thompson. Sam Thompson we're not mentioned quite a lot, but he's still there in 11th place looking to fight, as contact has been made between the 10th place and 11th place. I think LOR Blocks outbroke himself, but he's allowed Ferrer to stay ahead of him. It's just a little bit of a misjudgment. So well done to LOR Blocks for letting Ferrer keep the position. I know it's not purpose. I know we made it by accident. We all misjudge our braking zones, and he's lost the position to Sam. But good sportsmanship for LOR Blocks to let Ferrer keep his position ahead of him. Yellow's in sector 1, and who is that? Only 2 drivers that are in sector 1, and it's the Williams and Timon. Timon looks like he's struggling a lot, so I wonder what's going on for him. Not having the best of races. I wonder if it's just overheated issues, because we saw he was sliding a lot on those soft tyres. Overheating should be a massive problem around here. On the medium tyre should be a problem whatsoever. As Timon is in the pit, so is sector. PMP Mike also follows him. Time for the soft runners coming to pits. Where is Pat? Is down in 12th place. He's got some clear air ahead of him, and VRT Timon has retired from the session. Safety car has been deployed. Do you know what? Yost is now back in the race. The safety car has been deployed. The safety car has came out at the right moment for the soft runners. They can go in the pits and change their tyres. Remember, these guys were under a delta, so I doubt that PMP Pat, ILRT Pat, sorry, will overtake. It's not. This hasn't worked out whatsoever for ILRT Pat. Do you know what? Sector and Timon has got ahead of Pat. That's really destroyed his race for Pat, sorry. But for the soft runners in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, this is what they wanted. This has worked out beautifully for those guys. People on the medium tyres, not really so much, because it's too early to put on the soft tyres. Not worked out for them whatsoever. Sector behind the medium runners, ILRT Timon 2. So VRT Timon unfortunately has retired from the session, as this gives a perfect opportunity for Yost to come in the pits and change his tyres and catch up to the field. Respect for Yost for not leaving, despite his issues at lap 1. He was leading the race until he spun at Cops. And the Ferrari is in the pits. Be unwise for them not to pit, so no brainer to pit on those soft tyres. This plays in the hands beautifully for the top 3 because the rest of them under a delta. Yeah, you do get a delta under the safety car as well, so they're under the delta. It's not Smash who's got a penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Jordan Polska's got ahead of the McLaren driver. The Ferrari driver, sorry. His pit lane's further back as Sam Thompson's taking it very cautiously through the pit lane, not trying to speed. It's a long pit lane, isn't it? Very long pit lane. It's very frustrating when you have full wind damage. It takes about 30 seconds. As Dylan Warren's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. How are you getting that under the safety car? What's he been doing? Gives a chance for the drivers who made mistakes early on in the race. As Polska's retired from the session, he's spun. There he is. He's just spun. How on earth has he done that? I can't imagine how he's done that. Well, that's maybe we saw how that's happened. Did he make contact with someone out of the pits? I wonder. How on earth has that? How has that happened? In fact. Well, both VLT drivers not having a good race whatsoever. There's only one VLT driver left in this race, and that is Little Blocks in 11th place. Let's see what he could do for the VLT. Thanks a lot, mate. Means a lot to me. Apologies for joining late. I thought it started at 1:30, but it started at 1 in fact. Tier 2 starts at 1:30. But that means a lot to me. Thank you very much for your comment. Like I said, I always try my best with commentary. But for the top 3, well, top 2 shall I say, perfect opportunity because they were on the soft tyres. The safety car came at the right time. Look at that, they were first and second. If it was normal race circumstances, I dare say Sector and Pat will got ahead of them. But the safety car played into their hands beautifully. For people like RGK Yost, who's not caught up yet, but he's got another lap for the safety car. The safety car will stay out for another lap, I think. It doesn't stay out for too long, no more than 3 laps it stays out for. Sam's in the pits. He's on the hard tyres. So is Smash. Do you know what? The medium tyres could go to the end. So is he like nervous? Not those tyres can't go to the end. As what tyres does he go on? It's a long pit lane, isn't it? He goes on to the medium compound tyres. It's cost him a lot. He was up into 7th place, and he rejoins in 11th. Or 12th because Yost is on his way. And will he rejoin ahead of Yost? He comes out the pit lane right now and he's not made it. He's behind Yost. Sam is now down in 12th. Very interesting then. Who do you think is going to win the British GP? Is it the Ferrari driver, Just Sass, the Ginger, ILT Diamond, Sector? Could be anybody in this race. I think the top 5 could have a good shot at winning. PMP Mike started there in 6th place. Where did he start? He started down in 10th place. Did the Renault driver. Not Smash though. Not Smash. Questionable because on those hard tyres. Hello Jamie, I'm about to start SRL. Well, good luck to you with SRL. So not Smash. Those medium tyres could definitely go to the end, but I just wonder, is this strategy, soft or hard's not really the way to go? Especially the guys with on the medium tyres, and he's on the softs as well, is Ferrer. LOR Blocks on the mediums, Yost on the mediums, and Sam on the mediums. Ferrer. Interesting for Ferrer. Can those tyres go to the end, those soft tyres? It'll be a massive stretch, and I don't think he will. A safety car is in this lap, so questionable strategy from Ferrer. Did he start the mediums? Yes, he did start the mediums. Well, very interesting from him then. I don't think he will go to the end on these tyres. If he does, those tyres will fall off quite a lot. I know the medium tyres can go to the end, the hards could definitely go to the end. But anyways, no problem mate. The Ferrari driver will back them all up. And we'll be off racing yet again. As he makes his move, as did anybody make it to look at cheeky overtake before the safety car line. You can't overtake at the safety car line, well after the safety car line. I think it's before the final corner. Looks like Mercedes got a good start. He's tucked in behind the Red Bull, off sector. Polska's left the session. As down the inside goes the Mercedes on sector, turn 3. Has the outside line. Now he has the inside line of sector. Will he stick it around the outside or will he tuck it behind the slipstream? Coming out of turn 5 onto the Wellington straight. Pat and Sector still side by side. This is lovely racing from the two drivers. Now they're coming into Brooklands. This is an opportunity to go side by side and overtake 2. He will stick it around the outside. And he is not overtaking him yet. Sector's still there. Will Sector hang it around the outside. He will run out of road and he almost goes off the track. He gets on the gravel, but he was guaranteed to do that because around the outside, you're guaranteed to run out of road. That's really unfortunate. We know that ILT Pat had the racing line. And I believe that Dylan Warren got ahead of someone or behind someone. No, Ferrer got ahead of Dylan Warren. And he's up into 8th place. Good battle going on between 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Ferrer on those soft tyres has to get past these guys as quick as possible to make his strategy work. I'm still intrigued to know that his tyres will go to the end or not. And look at Smash all over the back of PMP Mike. Going around the outside of Stowe, but he will go off the track for, I think, yes he will, he will go off the track. Let's hope he rejoins it in a safe manner, which he does. His teammate D. Warren hits the back of her sector, no Ferrer, sorry. But not enough to cause him into a spin, thankfully. Look at little blocks going down the inside of TGG D. Warren, caught him a bit on the exit of turn 17. Look at Yost. As down the inside goes little blocks, but he can't make it, not Smash, he's still ahead. As IGK Yost has overtaken Dylan Warren. I believe Dylan Warren leapt through. Meanwhile, top 2, very close proximity with each other. So is ILT Timon. ILT Pat down in 4th place. LOR Blocks was alongside Not Smash, he's still ahead. Not Smash will struggle on those hard tyres because they will carry less speed through the corners because they don't have much grip. I'm still thinking why he went on those hard tyres. Those mediums could definitely go to the end for sure, but not sure why he's on the hards. Look at that, he slides into cops. Gotta be careful not to smash into the back of him. So alongside him, he's not waiting his little blocks, he wants to get his move done. And he's made it ahead of Not Smash, but Not Smash will stay in his slipstream. And let's see, little blocks gets out of shape just a bit. And that's allowed Not Smash to get back at him. As they're side by side now onto the Hagen straight. Gotta know that Williams has just spun. All the Renault takes avoided action as well. Sam Thompson. Did little blocks know he was there? Because we know he was fighting with the Racing Point, but did he know he was there? I wonder. He was focused on the Racing Point ahead of him. Was IGK used a bit optimistic to go down the inside there, and yeah, that's his race done. Yes, DRS is now enabled, so we can see some as IGK Yost has retired from the session. Unsurprisingly, his race is now done. It's really frustrating for him to see that. As Little Blocks goes down the inside of the Racing Point, they're still side by side. He has the inside line for Brooklands. And Little Blocks is now ahead of Not Smash unless he gets a better exit coming out of Brooklands now into Woodcut. And Little Blocks stays ahead of the Racing Point. Someone's made a mistake in Sector 1. That's probably IGK Yost's car. DRS is now enabled, so we'll see a fight between Sector and Pat. It's very easy to go wide through there and pick up a bit of dirt as you make your way out of Maggotts and Beckett's. Too far away, but what about Sector? Can't make the move, he's too far away too. Look at Dylan Warren looking to go down the inside of his teammate, both Racing Points, and yeah, he's ahead. Oh, he's gone off the track. He's off the track, he's going to crash into the wall. Yep, he's in the wall. He's retired from the session too. What on earth happened there? How did he manage to do that? And Timer getting closer to the Ginger. Will Timer go down the inside? Yes, he will. Not waiting for the DRS, is he? But Ginger's still around the outside. Ginger will hate to see this because the Ferrari will pull away the more these two fight. can't afford to be fighting retirement. He needs to leave him and try and get back on the back of that Ferrari as quick as possible before he starts fighting with him. No battles going on further behind. Yellow's in sector 3. Nobody's in sector 3, are they? Nobody's in sector 3. Hold up a second, hold on. Little Blocks has retired because seeing the full map that he's retired in Baggett's and Beckett's, and the virtual safety car has been deployed. Do you know what I thought the Ferrari would do? The Ferrari did a dummy on the Ginger. I don't think the Ginger's full enough to take that. It's a long pit lane, so I don't think anybody would opt to pit. If they did, then they'll lose a lot of time. So, virtual safety. We had a safety car. We had a virtual safety car now. Little Blocks has left the session, unfortunately for him. Not been a good race for him. Hopefully he'll come back stronger in the next few races. When will the virtual safety car go? Will it work into Timon's favour? And the virtual safety car has disappeared, so it's worked as not as much as left the session. It's worked for the Ferrari's favour because the straight, he was coming to the corner, Brooklands and Luffield. Who's that? That is the Red Bull of Ferrer and Mike going side by side. Coming out of Luffield now into Woodcut. Gets a lovely launch coming out of Woodcut. And now he's ahead of PMP Mike before Cops. But onto the battle between Timon and Ginger. He's very close to the Ginger, but Ginger will have DRS on the back of the Ferrari driver. Has Timon got the pace to try and get that Ferrari? Needs to dispatch Ginger very quickly in order to catch that Ferrari driver. The DRS is assisting Ginger and helping him to stay ahead. And it's frustrating for Timon, he can't get ahead. The DRS trains are very frustrated. Heading on to lap 17. It is the Ferrari leading the Ginger, ILRT Timon, ILRT Pat in 4th, Sector behind him in 5th, Ferrer in 6th, under pressure from Mike behind him. Still intrigued to know if those soft tyres will go to the end of this race or not. Or both making contact. Where's the Red Bull? What was that from PMP Mike, sorry. Yeah, I saw mate, I don't think he put you off. I think it was an aggressive move. It was down the inside, but I don't think... It was a good move from LOR, but at the same time, a bit aggressive. I don't know who to blame. I don't want to put the blame on anybody, as myself. I don't want to put the blame on anybody, but... You were alongside him when he went down the inside. I dare say he should give a bit more room. But for the safety car, I did a nice race with mediums. I can podium without a safety car. The safety car has ruined a few people's races, especially those medium runners. It's ruined them because it was a perfect time for the soft runners to come in the pits. But for the medium runners, it's not worked out whatsoever, has it, for those drivers, unfortunately. It's caught a lot of medium runners out. It came out at the very right time for the soft runners, but people who pitted on the mediums before the safety car, that's ruined their race too. It's allowed these guys to be in first, second and third, because they pitted after, well, before when the safety car came out. For the medium runners, the safety car should come out, well, like lap 16, 17, so they could go to the end on those soft tyres. That's the problem with the safety car, because the safety car could benefit one man's race, but ruin the other man's race. In terms of strategy, let's hope these two can keep it clean this time. I know they made contact on the previous lap. I think, yeah, Mike carried more speed through Ferrer. I think he got caught out by the amount of speed that Ferrer was taking through turn 1 and 2. Don't think it was his intention to put him off the track or anything like that. But for the tyre difference, you would expect Ferrer to go much quicker than Mike, but First to Mike, his tyre life might be coming to an end shortly because he's on those 8-lap-old softs. So no wonder he's under pressure from Mike behind him on those better medium tyres at this stage of the race. Can he make it to the end of those softs? I don't know. Anyways, back to the front. LOR Team is still stuck behind the Ginger. This is putting massive frustration on him. Second place. Ginger also having DRS on the back of the Ferrari, so the Ferrari is ruining Timon's race, being stuck in that DRS train. Also helping Ginger stay in second place. That's what happens when you're stuck in a DRS train. It's just so difficult to get past. Mike is now ahead of Ferrer. Will Ferrer fight back into Vale? He defends the inside line, making him go the long way around. He outbreaks himself, but still keeps it on the track. As he's ahead of Mike. So, it's not Mike wants to see whatsoever. Meanwhile, good battle going on for the top 3 of this race. Timon needs to make a move as quick as possible. He's running out of time. He's lap 19 out of 26 for Timon, being stuck in that DRS train. Adding more frustration onto him behind the Ginger. Coming into Brooklands. What about Mike and Ferrer? There they are. Mike goes down the inside of Ferrer into Brooklands. This time he stays ahead of Ferrer. Don't think Ferrer will try and go the long way because he will run out of road. And Mike is now ahead of Ferrer. He needs to pull away from him. He's coming towards the end of those soft tyres. And he weaves on the straight for some reason. Probably showing off, saying, haha, I got past you. D. Warren's also in 8th place behind, ahead of Sam Thompson. Sam Thompson is... Pretend I didn't see that. As Ginger and LOR Team is still in 2nd and 3rd. Still can't make a move behind him. Set to close it up on the back of Pat. Mike still under pressure from Ferrer, but probably Ferrer's last chance to overtake him because those soft tyres won't help him through the corners as Sam's retired from the session for some reason. Sam was running a quiet race in 9th place, but it's just not gone well whatsoever, has it? Hopefully it's a better race next time. Look at that, the DRS train is not helping Timon whatsoever, is it? I will be absolutely frustrated to be stuck behind. Will the Ginger use the Ferrari until the very last moments of the race? Because we know that, I think Timon's got a bit more pace than Ginger, but Ginger being stuck in the DRS train, well, stuck behind the Ferrari. So, will Ginger use the Ferrari for help and assistance to keep ahead of Timon? When it comes to lap 25 or 6, that's when he starts to make a move, the Ginger. And saying that, he has a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. LOR Team is still interested in the back of Ginger. What could Timon do at this stage? What can he do? He can't really do much behind the Ginger, can he? Sector has overtaken the Mercedes of Pat into Stowe. Gives him a bit of a speed coming out of Stowe. Gives a bit of a tap as Pat goes down the inside, but he can't because Sector broke later than him and stays ahead for the moment. Unless Pat can get a better exit coming out the final 3 corners. Not the best thing to do, get on the curbs there. As Ferrer has dropped away from the Renault of PMP Mike as Pat goes down the inside. Into turn 3 they go. This is good battle. We see this on the previous lap, don't we, between these two? We saw this, sorry, as time is closer, but not close enough. As Pat will hang it around the outside to get the inside line into Brooklands and Brooklands and Luffield. He goes off the track, he outbreaks himself, and Sector stays ahead. Meanwhile, more frustration added on to time and being stuck behind the Ginger. What can he do? Can he try and go down the inside? Would he have to if he has to? Can't really afford to stay behind the Ginger that much. I know he's got less penalties than the Ginger. I don't know how much penalties the first man place has got. That will not help the Ginger, and this will encourage Timon even more. This is Timon's opportunity to get past Ginger. We'll have to try and go down the inside. He can't afford to stay behind him. No room for Ginger. He has to go off the track. We'll have to go down the inside, but we'll time it out, break him. Into Vale they go. Now into Club. And yes, Tybert is ahead of the Ginger now. And now his frustration is over. He can set on catching the back of that Ferrari. He's dispatched Ginger. It took him a long time to do it, but eventually he got ahead. And now he's got 4 laps to try and get that Ferrari ahead of him. Meanwhile, Pat's still disposed and dispatched of Sector. He's still ahead of him, Sector. And Ferrer is 2 seconds behind PMP Mike, sorry. So that battle between those two is now over. Now Ginger can feel the pain that Tyrone had being stuck in that DRS train. Into Brooklands and Luffield they go. Ferrari's done a good job so far, but he's under pressure from 2 men behind him. And I wonder how long will he stay in the lead between these two. The DRS and Slipstream is helping him stay in contact with him. Now coming into the fast right-hander Cops. Pat and Sector are very close. I wonder if they're side by side coming into Cops. Now coming into Maggots and Brooklyn. Maggots and Beckett, sorry. Getting a bit confused. Looks like Ginger's dropping back a bit. He's lost contact between the top 2 just a bit. He's still in the DRS trade of those 2. As Pat on the back of Sector goes down the inside of Stowe. As he made it ahead, no, they're side by side coming out of Stowe. Off the track he goes. You tend to see... Oh no! What was that? Wow. I have no idea what I've just seen. Come on guys, what was that? I'm holding judgment on that one. I need to watch it again because I was on board with Sector. Need to go watch that one. I need to see what who's blamed for that. Well, looks like Sector turned the wheel just a bit and connected with Patrick. I need to see both footages because I don't really know who's to blame on that one. Did Sector steer into Pat? Did Pat turn in? I don't know. I need to see on board with Pat and I don't know whose fault it is, but I'm going to hold judgment till I see both footages from both drivers. I'm not an admin, I'm not a steward, I'm just a commentator, but I still like to see footage to see what happened between the two. Any incidents reported to the admin team V8 field. I don't know who's to blame. I don't want to put the blame on anybody until I see both sides of the story. Can't really look at one side of the story and put the blame on someone. As ILRT timer tries to go down the inside, coming out. Oh no! And Ginger is ahead of Timon again. Did he understeer into the Ferrari, or did the Ferrari not leave enough room? D1 is ahead of Ferrer. Not the best evaluation race I've seen. People getting their elbows out and being a bit too aggressive. But remember, there's 26 laps in this race. There's not 5 laps in this race. You just got to remember about the long game. Can't really be fighting all the time. You can't really put your elbows out to each other because things like that will happen. There was a good fight between those two, but unfortunately it's been ruined. And feel sorry for ILRT Pat, he's retired from the session. Sector, he's got a 10-second time penalty. Who's to blame? I don't know. Don't really want to put the blame on anybody. I want to see both sides of the story before I can judge. Meanwhile, it's been a good fight between the top 3. We saw a bit of contact between first and third, but not enough to cause him to a spin. How are you doing? I'm not doing too bad, man. I'm not doing too bad, thank you. What about you? But well done to Ferrari in first place because he's coped under pressure from the whole race. So well done to him. He's fighting Timon. He was fighting with Timon. Now he's fighting with the Ginger. You finally have a perfect setup for my steering wheel, so I can practice racing with it. Good luck to you. What steering wheel you got? What wheel you got? Yeah, it's really a shame to see, really. It's just an evaluation race. I don't know why people got their elbows out in the evaluation race. We don't like to see it, of course. It's just that people are just a bit too aggressive and just need to calm it down a little bit. Remember, it's just an evaluation race. You're not going to score points, are you, in the evaluation race? The season starts next week, for God's sake. I know people like to fight for pride. I understand that fully. No matter what race it is, if it's just a practice race, an evaluation race, they always like to fight for pride. So I understand it, but at the same time, they've got to think about it. I mean, if I was in the evaluation race, I would still fight too. I'll fight hard, but not too hard. You've got to remember, it's just an evaluation race, not a proper. It is a proper race, but not in a championship race. If that makes sense, they've got to like think about it. We all like to see fights and all that, but at the same time, it's just not very. It's just not very good for the league itself. Hopefully the next season won't be like this, and hopefully we'll have more finishes and good fights. I know these drivers can do it. I know a lot of these drivers, as Timon also loses it. I know these drivers are capable of fighting. I know majority of them. The only one I don't know in this one is Ferrer. I don't really know who he is, but seems like he's had a good race so far. 15 lap old soft tyres as well. Look at those soft tyres. Look at them. And I don't think it's the best choice to go on the soft tyres, but he had no choice really other than to go on the hard tyres because he did start the mediums. Pitted way too early on those medium tyres. We're on the last lap, by the way. I know that Ginger's got a 3-second tyre penalty. We're going to Cops, long right-hander. Not flat out just yet through with these cars. Can you take it flat out through Cops? I've seen people do it, but which way is the fastest way to take it? You lift off slightly as ILRT timer gets a time penalty as yellow to sector 2, and who is that? Dylan Warren through the exit of Brooklands. Will we see any last lap moves made by the Ginger? I don't know how many time penalties the Ferrari has got. A last chance now to try and make a dive into. Will he do it? No, he doesn't think wisely of it. Too far back. Well, that's an interesting race as the Ferrari comes across the line to win the British GP. Ginger finishes in second place ahead of ILRT Timon. Sector with a 10-second time penalty will finish in. We'll have to wait and see, depending on how many more time penalties he's got throughout the race. PMP Mike will finish in 5th place, 1 second behind Sector. Ferrer will finish in 6th place despite being on those old soft tyres. Those tyres look absolute ragged as Dylan Warren, the last man to cross the line. 7 finishes unfortunately for this race. Spins his way across the line and he will finish in 7th. Not really the best race to see, but hopefully it'll improve. I know these drivers are capable of fighting. Hopefully we don't see that in the actual races. It was a good battles, but at the same time it was a bit too much from the drivers. And that's the evaluation race done. Next race for today is the Classic Car League. So feel free to join that one. It starts at 4:15 UK time. So feel free if you want to join that stream. I think the seats are folded up. And it is Retro Classic Championship. So very interested to see. I've never commentated. I've commentated once for a Classic League. So the Ferrari did not get any penalties in the end. Ginger finishes second ahead of Timon. Sector is in 4th place ahead of PMP Mike. Ferrer is in 6th ahead of Dylan Warren. Pat is in 8th ahead of Sam Thompson. Well, there's your DNFs. 8th downwards to 15th. Lion was the first man to retire from the session. God knows what happened to Jordan Polska. I feel like Pat gave me a squeeze. What's your name? What's your PSN name? Because I don't know who you are as your PSN name. So what's your PSN name? I'll try and remember what happened. Rafita. Sector. I think we were racing hard and we clashed. I believe it was 40-60. I don't want to put the blame on anybody, to be honest. I need to see both sides of it. I feel like you turned the steering wheel just a bit, you connected. Then on Pat's side, he turned in just a bit. I think you should have stayed on that line you were going for, not like turned in. Pat, he should have stayed on that line too. It's really hard to see whose fault it is, but it's an evaluation race, so I don't think no penalties will come to the next race. But anyways, that's the race done. My opinions on the race, there were good fights. Don't get me wrong. There were amazing fights going on, side-by-side action, but there were a bit too much that people were just impatient and too happy for an evaluation race, too excited. But hopefully, next time out, for the actual GP next time, there'll be some good action. I don't know when the next race is. I know it's next Sunday, but I don't know what the calendar is looking like, so I need to check that soon. But yeah, that's it for me today. I'll see you all next time at 1 o'clock, and I believe Tier 2 is at 1:30. So we'll see you all later, and goodbye for now. Have a nice day, the rest of you.